Hello and welcome to something I've wanted to do for quite a while now. I am going to do a full closet declutter. So I've spent the last 9 months in my childhood bedroom due to coronavirus and certain post-graduation plans falling through, and it's made me realize how much my childhood bedroom really hasn't evolved with me as I've gotten older, and that definitely includes my closet. So I've got some real vintage stuff in my closet that you're going to be seeing today. Also, this video is probably going to be filmed over the course of several days. There's no way I'm going to do all of this in one whole day. So if you see several different outfit changes and makeup looks, that's because this is going to be filmed over several days. So without further ado, let's get started. So excuse the crazy lighting inside my closet. If you saw my video about making an audiobook, you'll know how yellow the lighting in my closet is. It's just because the light bulb in the closet hasn't been changed in a very long time. So during the summer, I actually did reorganize both this bottom layer here and the top layer up there, but I didn't declutter anything. I just reorganized it. This bottom layer right here is most of my tops, and I do say most because part of the reason why I am doing this declutter is because there is a bunch of stuff I brought home from college. I am originally from, and I am currently living in the Bay Area, but when I started going to college in New York, I was suddenly finding myself in real summer weather and real winter area, whereas in the Bay Area, it never gets colder than 50 degrees Fahrenheit and never gets warmer than 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So I basically had to acquire a whole new closet based on these new weather clothing requirements, on top of the clothes I already owned, which is a lot. I've honestly never done a real closet declutter before. I've basically been the same clothing size since late middle school. So unless a piece of clothing is on the verge of falling apart, I never really saw a reason to declutter it. But now I have a lot more clothing and only a certain amount of space, so it's time to go through my closet and finally let go of some things. So if you notice, this bottom row is color coordinated. I'm gonna go down the row by color. So let's get started. Okay. So here are all of my white shirts. This first one is definitely a keeper. This is actually one of my newer shirts. I got this my junior year of college on my very first trip to Disney World. It's one of the only pieces of merchandise I ever bought on that trip for myself, especially because I wasn't able to do the Disney college program. This is kind of like my memento of that one trip to Disney World. So yeah, this is definitely a keeper. This is also another travel memento, so this is probably also a keeper. I got this the first time I ever went to Hawaii. The first time and the only time I've ever been to Hawaii. My mom's a big fan of this artist. I can't remember his name, but he draws these cats. And obviously this cat's got a little lei and is looking at a butterfly. It's very cute, it's very me. So this is definitely a keeper. Okay, now we're starting to get into the older stuff. This is actually also a travel memento. This was from a day trip I took down to LA, and we toured the Warner Brothers studio. One of the sets we were able to see was the set of The Big Bang Theory, and then of course the end of the tour they take you through the gift shop as part of the exit. And so I got this shirt because at the time I was a big fan of The Big Bang Theory, which is kind of embarrassing to say now, but yeah, I was a fan of The Big Bang Theory. I don't really know what that says about me now. Obviously I don't watch the show anymore, I haven't in a really long time, which is why I think I'm actually gonna declutter this. I've had it for a really long time, and I think it's starting to get kind of old. You can see the stain that often forms kind of around the collar area of white shirts when you've worn them for a long time. I think that's a sign that maybe it's time to let the shirt go, so I'm gonna declutter it. Okay, another vintage piece. This is gonna be really hard for me. I used to love Paul Frank in middle school. I've worn this shirt for a long time, and I've worn it in so many videos, so many vlogs. But even though it's not completely falling apart anymore, I've had this shirt for going on 10 years now, and I think it is time to let it go. So thank you, I have loved this shirt for so long, but it is time to declutter. Okay, so this is a thrifted piece. I thrifted it from a local thrift store, and I feel like I have a very specific style that isn't always available in thrift stores. It depends on where you go to. But yeah, I've acquired this piece within the last year. I honestly really haven't worn it that much, so I think I'm gonna keep it and give it some more time so I can actually wear it. The reason why I haven't worn it is because I thrifted it I think like 3 weeks before lockdown, and I went home for spring break and I never went back to college again. So yeah, that's why I haven't really worn it at all. Haven't had a chance to. Okay, I love this shirt. This is one of my older pieces. Why am I calling these pieces? They're white t-shirts. Pieces. But yeah, I've had this since I think early high school, late middle school, but I didn't wear it that much, mostly because kind of in middle school, going into like maybe the beginning of high school, I was very averse to wearing pink, even a little bit of pink like this, and I was kind of like coming out of a goth/emo phase, or at least as goth and emo as strict Asian parents would allow me to be. And so when I first bought the shirt, I really didn't give it a chance, but as I got older, I started wearing it more. So even though it is older, it is still in pretty good condition, so I'm gonna keep it. Okay, this is a tough one. This is my paint shirt. So if you've watched any number of my vlogs, you know I mentioned this a lot. I used to participate in construction/building crews for set building in college, and on painting days, this is the shirt I would wear. It might not look like there's like a ton of paint on this shirt, but that's actually because when I came home from college, my mom saw that the shirt was just covered in paint, and so she tried to scrub away as much paint as she possibly could using several different methods. Even though I explained to her that this shirt is my paint shirt, she just couldn't stand seeing it dirtied like that, so she tried to scrub away as much paint as she could, and honestly she did a pretty good job. Like, you could still see some of the remnants on it, but it's pretty clean compared to what it used to look like. But in terms of whether or not I'm going to keep this, sorry if you can hear that, the heat just came on, I just don't know what the future's going to bring. If I were ever to paint on a set again, obviously I would want this shirt, but I don't know if I am going to. But you know, paint clothes are supposed to be like old t-shirts that you don't really use anymore, and because the purpose of this declutter is to clear out those old t-shirts, I think I'm actually going to keep this in case I need to work on a set again. Okay, it's getting dark. I'm gonna turn on the light real quick and I'm gonna go get my next batch of clothes. I've been experimenting with nighttime lighting with this new camera, and while I don't dislike this kind of nighttime lighting as much as I did with the nighttime lighting on my old phone, it still gives some really weird results. Like, why is my chest so pale compared to my neck? I guarantee you in real life, my skin is not this pale. And I think if I were to continue to film in the nighttime lighting, I would probably want to blend like my foundation into my neck, but I know my mom would hate it if I ever got any makeup on my shirts. That's also why I'm not trying on any of these clothes either. Even if we're just throwing these away, my mom couldn't handle getting any makeup on any of my clothes. So on to the next category. This category is pretty short. I mentioned that when I was younger, I was adverse to pinks, and that is why in the pink category, there are only 2 shirts and they look almost exactly the same. So my parents have always liked me in polos. They like putting me in polos. They think it's a very classic look. And then in high school, I was always a public school kid, but for the last 3 years of high school, I transferred to a private school in which you had to wear a polo to school every day. But then when I went to college, now that I didn't have either my school or my parents dictating what I wore every day, I really switched up kind of my use of polos and how I styled them. And both of these polos are very much from that kind of like pre-high school and college kind of parents styling me in polos era. So yeah, like I said, these 2 polos are very similar, but I do think the short sleeves, that's really the only difference between the 2 of them, is this one is a long sleeve and this one is a short sleeve. The short sleeve one fits better with my current kind of polo preppy aesthetic. Nowadays, I would style this with like a cardigan, maybe a skirt, or some khaki pants. Whereas, especially because a lot of my cardigans are very form-fitting, I feel like it would be harder to layer them with the long sleeve. Also, the long sleeve is the older one out of the two of these. This, I believe I got in high school, and this I think I've actually had since late elementary school, early middle school. So, you know, while I've enjoyed this shirt quite a lot over the years, I think it is time to say goodbye. So thank you, and we shall declutter it. Alrighty, it's a new day, so let's keep decluttering. So I actually have quite a few shirts I would put in the reds category. Red is a favorite color for me, especially during the fall. This first shirt I've had with me for quite some time. Middle school and high school always kind of blurs together for me because for the last 3 years of high school, I was mostly in my school uniform, so my closet really didn't change all that much between middle school and high school. I do really like this shirt though, and I honestly don't have anything even close to it in my closet, so I think I'm gonna still hold on to it. This guy I got end of high school, beginning of college. It's one of my very first kind of quasi crop tops. It's a little bit more cropped, but it's one of those shirts that really only shows like a wisp of the belly area. As we get further into my closet, I'll show you some of my more extreme crop tops. This is pretty recent, so I'm gonna hold on to this. Okay, this is one of my goofier shirts. This is the Heart SF for San Francisco, which is my hometown. I have to keep this shirt because even when I'm away from home, I just love repping my home city, so that's a keep. Okay, so these two sweaters are really similar, so I'm just gonna show them at the same time. Wow, on camera they look even more similar. Sweaters have always been a very versatile item for me, but especially once I started going to college in New York, I could wear sweaters both when I was in San Francisco, when the weather's a little bit more moderate, and I could wear it during the colder seasons in New York, pairing it with other things for a winter outfit. So while I do already own a lot of sweaters, like I said, it's a very versatile item. I can use it both here in California and hopefully when I move to New York. Actually, I've been talking to my parents about that, and we're projecting that I can start thinking about moving out to my own place in New York in the late summer, early fall, once the vaccine has rolled out and the entertainment industry, the industry I work in, is starting to open up again. But anyway, back on topic, I will be keeping both of these sweaters. I might honestly be keeping everything in my red section. Here's another sweater. It's red, but it's got black speckled all over it. I have one more sweater that's kind of like that, but it's black and white. And like I said, I really like sweaters. They're very versatile, and I can pair them with a lot of other things in my closet, so I am going to keep this. Okay, this next one is going to be a tough one. I will be the first to admit I do not wear this shirt all that often anymore. It's around the same age as that pink polo that I decluttered, so it is getting up there in terms of age. However, this is part of like my perfect go-to Christmas party ensemble. I always wear this as like a base layer, and then I have another green V-necked sweater that I wear over this, and then I like pair it with pants or a skirt. It's a perfect Christmas outfit because you got the bright red and you got the bright green. So because of that, I do think I am going to keep this. Okay, last red thing, and actually this is the first thing I've shown that I've bought myself. This is a crop top. It's one of those pseudo sweater crop tops where it's got what looks to be sweater material based on the design, but the actual material is much thinner than an actual sweater. This is definitely a California item. I can really only wear it during brief weather periods when I'm in New York, when the temperature is like a certain kind of level. But I did purchase this for myself, so I am keeping it. If you will notice, I'm mainly going to be decluttering, not things I bought for myself, because those are kind of things I curated for myself, but sort of things my parents dressed me up in as a kid that I still have, because even though as an adult I'm growing into my own sense of style, I still fit most of these clothes, so I don't really want it to go to waste. Oh, gonna put these back. Move on to the next category. Ooh, oh boy. Ugh. Okay, if you thought I had a lot of red, here are the greens. Alrighty, so this first one is probably the oldest of my greens. This is something from like late middle school, and This is gonna be really hard for me, but I think it is time to let this one go. It's still in pretty good condition, but it's not really something I would wear anymore. In fact, I think the brand that made this shirt, Cherokee, I don't think that exists anymore. I think that used to be, I want to say either a Target brand or a brand they sold at like Nordstrom Rack. And it is a child's extra large, and after all these years, it is finally starting to get a little tight in like the shoulder area. So yeah. Thank you. It is time to let this guy go. Okay, so this is one of my more extreme crop tops. It's this guy. It's another sweater crop top. For me, sweater crop tops are usually more of a California thing, but I actually have worn this sweater crop top quite a bit in New York, mainly because the fabric is a little bit more thicker and more true to kind of traditional sweater material. And I also bought this for myself, so I am gonna keep it. Alrighty, another item. I haven't been able to wear this shirt all that much lately because I can really only wear this in New York during the summer season. It's like one of those shoulderless shirts, so it's supposed to go like this with these two sleeve things starting like around here. And it never gets warm enough in my part of California to justify wearing something like this. But like I said, hopefully I will be in New York soon and I will have a chance to wear this. Okay, I'm gonna run through this quickly. Super basic green shirt. This is from Merona brand, which they also don't make anymore. I'm super upset about that because I used to buy from it all the time. This is actually one of my few remaining Merona shirts because I wore out my other ones so much. But yeah, keeping it. Surprisingly, even though it's so basic, I really don't have anything like it in my closet. Okay, we have another polo. It's so funny. So the high school I ended up transferring to, their uniform is polo and khakis. Well, I was already wearing polos and khakis even before I started at this high school. So much so that the polos I owned, Land's End mainly, also manufactures the polos of my school uniform. So this is almost exactly like my school uniform polo, except it doesn't have the school's logo on the chest. Like I said, polo person. I also do like the short sleeve polo or the long sleeve polo, so I am going to keep this. Speaking of Land's End, this shirt is also from Land's End. I have another shirt in a different color that I don't wear as often. This one I definitely do wear more. So I'm gonna keep this one, and then once we get to that other shirt, I'm gonna think about decluttering it. You know that shirt I said was really basic, but I thought I didn't have anything else close to it in my closet? Well, I have this, and the sleeves are longer and the color is slightly different, but it is pretty similar. I do like that other shirt a lot more because this has a really wide neckline, and I only own about 1 or 2 strapless bras, so this shirt is a little bit harder to coordinate with. However, it is one of my more recent pieces of clothes. I think I got it my freshman or sophomore year of high school, and my mom would be super pissed if I decluttered anything that new, so I am gonna keep it. Okay, so this is one of my most favorite shirts of all time. I actually don't wear this shirt in videos all that often because kind of like the sleeveless portion here is not super flattering when you're just kind of filming from kind of the neck up because it makes my shoulders look big. But in everyday life, I loved wearing this shirt, especially in California. I'm kind of a big fan of the cold shoulder thing. I know that's falling out of style, but I still like it, so I don't care. Ooh, so next we have one of my plaid shirts. Actually, 2 of my plaid shirts, because these 2 are really similar to one another. I used to be a really big fan of plaid. Actually, my profile picture for my YouTube channel is of me in my blue plaid, which you'll see later. I just think plaid is really classic, and you can wear these on their own or layered over other things. So I actually am gonna keep both of these. There is another that I do have in mind that I know I'm going to declutter later on, so we'll get there. Alrighty, and we have the last thing in my greens, and it's a sweater. This closet declutter is making me realize how basic my closet is. I don't know how my closet matches up against like the average person, but compared to like YouTubers, especially lifestyle YouTubers and fashion YouTubers, I feel their closets are a lot more diverse and dynamic than what I've been showing you. But you know, this is what I have, and especially the stuff I bought for myself, this is what I like. So let's just keep going. Oh god, how am I gonna pick this up? Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so I have part 1 of blues. I'm not going to try to do all my blues in one go because I have a lot of blues. So this is the other shirt I said I was going to look at. I wear the green version of this a lot more. This really isn't a color that I am drawn to all that much, so I actually think I am going to declutter this. This next one is also a similar color to that other one I just decluttered, but it is Merona brand, and it is super soft and super comfy. That's why I loved Merona brand so much, and I'm so sad they don't exist anymore. So I am going to keep this shirt, but I do mostly wear this at home. Okay, this is a tough one. This is one of the very first shirts I ever bought for myself in like late high school. The shirt itself, when worn, is very sheer and see-through. And if I owned like a cute bralette, I think that would be really fun. But with my mom's preference of what undergarments I should be wearing or what she feels is age appropriate for me, I do not think I will be able to buy a bralette until I'm living on my own. Also, this shirt is on the older side and it is starting to pill up a little bit. I'm not sure how much the camera shows you, but those two things combined, I think I am going to declutter this. Okay, this is a very clear declutter. This is from middle school. In middle school, my mom really liked to dress me up in polos with stripes. I personally have never been a fan of polos with stripes even back then, so I think I can finally say goodbye to this. Okay, so this next one was a gift. I do like the butterfly design, but the sleeves have always fit kind of weird on me. This shirt is supposedly supposed to be activated by the sun, so if I were to stand out in the sun with this on, the butterfly would like have different colors on it, but it only ever seems to work in direct sunlight, so I actually think I am going to declutter this. So this is an older shirt, but I actually think I'm gonna keep it because I've kept it in pretty good condition over the years. I also still, after all the years, really like the design. It's very out of date now, but I personally still like it. Okay, so this is a darker version of that light blue sheer top that I ended up decluttering. I have a lot of similar qualms with this shirt in that it's very sheer and it is starting to pill up due to age, but I do think I am going to keep this one because, like that other blue shirt from Merona, I wear it around the house a lot. Okay, so this last shirt from the first part of the blue section is one of my favorite sweaters. It's a gradient sweater, so going from gray to dark blue, and I love it. I wear it all the time. Not so much in videos because of the angle, you can't see the gradient from gray to blue, but in my daily life, I have a skirt that is exactly this color, and so I can pair this sweater with that skirt, and it looks like almost like a one piece because the skirt blends in so well with the lower blue half. So yeah, definitely keeping this. So yeah, I decluttered 4 things from that first part of the blue section. I'm really proud of myself. Let's see what the rest of the blues have. Hello, so it is actually several days later. I took a bit of a break from my closet declutter to focus on filming some other stuff. If you actually recognize this makeup look, I just finished filming my December Ipsy haul, which is probably gonna go up before this, so I will link it in the description down below. Now, let's get started on the second part of my blues. Also, quickly, because it has been so long, for Black Friday, my mom actually got me this shirt. I've never personally worn tie-dye, and I know tie-dye was a trend like 6 months ago, and it hasn't really stuck since. But I mainly got this shirt for the cat. And yeah, other than 1 or 2 things I bought really early in the year, this has been my only piece of clothing I've added to my closet all year. And I just feel like this shirt is a whole 2020 mood. Okay, so this is a pretty recent addition. It's very simple. I like to wear this with pants, and I also have a matching navy skirt I like to wear this with, so I am definitely keeping this. Okay, this is a tough one. So this is definitely one of my older pieces. Again, it's Merona brand, so they don't exist anymore. It's not too worn down, but that's because I keep going back and forth over whether I actually like the design. I actually am wearing this shirt in my 7th grade picture. You can't see it because it's covered by a sweatshirt. But considering I got this at the beginning of 7th grade, that puts this shirt at about 10 years old, so thank you, but it is time to say goodbye. Okay, so I like to call this guy my party sweater. Ooh, is the camera gonna capture the sparkles at the bottom? Oh, yes! Yes, you can see the sparkles. This is like my low-key holiday party sweater. So it has so many memories attached to it. Probably the most significant one was I wore this on New Year's Eve last year when I was on a study abroad in Dublin. It was the first time I had ever been out of the United States, and I had like a great group of girls who were also in the study abroad group, and I really miss them. So, okay, this is also a middle school item. I've always had very mixed feelings about like the ribbing pattern. I don't know what to call this right here, but It's like old-fashioned, but it also feels kind of extra. It's not something I would ever really wear now. I don't think I ever brought it to college, so I'm going to declutter this. Okay, so if you're familiar with my videos at all, you have seen me wear this shirt. It is also the shirt I have on in my profile picture. I have another shirt on under it that we'll get to later, but I am definitely keeping this. Alrighty, I'll breeze through this one pretty quickly. This is a recent addition. I've been liking these like kind of sporty little like details that like I associate with like soccer or baseball. So yeah, I'm keeping this. So this shirt is actually just the blue version of the green shirt I'm wearing right now. I've been mentioning the Merona brand a lot, which they used to sell at Target but don't anymore, and I found that Land's End makes a lot of kind of similar styled basics that are of a pretty similar quality. Even though Land's End is way more expensive than what Merona was, I feel like this is kind of the closest thing that exists to Merona that still is like being sold today. So yeah, I'll keep this. You can still find Merona in like secondhand Goodwill thrift shop. I've seen Merona there occasionally. Speaking of Merona, another Merona shirt. I've had this shirt for a really long time, at least since middle school, but I will have to say I am keeping it. I'm probably not gonna wear it out of the house too often though. Actually, I wear the shirt to the gym a lot, so that's probably where it'll get its use. When I can go to a gym, of course. Oh, the things I took for granted in college. Ugh. So next up is a category in my closet that's like not quite blue but not quite black. I'm not sure if anybody else wears a lot of this color. It's just kind of a darker, I don't want to say navy blue, but it's just, yeah, like a dark, maybe more muted blue. This is like one of the first things I bought as like a freshman in college. I don't remember if turtlenecks were in that year or if I was just adapting to a New York fall as opposed to a California fall, but I really only still had clothes for a California fall. Like maybe I just wanted something warmer. But I specifically remember going to the mall with my roommate at the time and buying this sweater. And while it has deteriorated a little bit over the past 3 years, I am still going to keep it. It is very comfortable. It's very soft. So this is like a staple in my closet. I always love having like a dark navy blue button down. I feel like you wouldn't know that about me just by watching my YouTube videos. I'm a lot more casual on my YouTube videos compared to how I am in real life. I think it's also because the majority of my YouTube channel was filmed post-lockdown when things are a little bit more and also because I'm filming in California, and in the colder weather on the East Coast, I like to have me like a button down and then like a warm sweater over it. So yes, I am keeping that button down. I only recently got it within the past year or so, so it is fairly new to me. Now it is starting to get dark, so I probably will stop filming soon, but I have something very exciting to show you. I just get up. Ugh. Oh, you saw my sweatpants. Look how much better this light is. It never crossed my mind that the reason why the lighting in my childhood bedroom is so bad compared to what it looked like in the dorm is because the light in my room has not been replaced in at least 10 years. And so my dad recently put in new light bulbs into my light up there, and it's so much better now to film in this light. Although I will say, my bronzer now looks way more intense than it did before I turned on my light. Oh well. Okay, so I have had this polo in particular for a really long time. Like even before high school where I had to wear a polo as a uniform. So you know how old this is, and it's so worn down. And as much as I do like wearing polos in general, I think it's time to say goodbye to this one in particular. Woo! So here's another one of my basics. I like to wear this on its own, or I like to have like a black shirt underneath it. Blacks are gonna be a huge category because I'm an actor, so as an actor I do need my blacks. But yeah, I like having like a black shirt under this as an extra layer. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this. Okay, so this is from Uniqlo. It's a nice light spring summer shirt. It's a little bit see-through, but it's not so see-through that like having the bras that I have is a problem. Oh. The heat's on. So yeah, even when I'm home in the Bay Area, there's only certain times of the year I can wear this shirt, but I am going to keep it. I do like it. It's fairly recent, so it's not super worn down. So the heat being on is probably my cue to stop filming for the day. I am actually going to split this up into 2 parts because of how long this is getting. So let me know what you thought of my closet declutter so far. And until then, I will see you next time.